It really does make it. Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Nikki. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how you can lose fat while building muscle. So that's one huge part of my journey throughout my maintenance. After losing 70 pounds, I have continued to burn fat and build muscle. And today I'm going to be sharing some of the things that have helped me to do that along the way. So if you enjoyed this video or find it helpful, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. And let's go ahead and get started. So just to start at the beginning, I started my weight loss journey in April of 2020. I lost 70 pounds in a year. And once I hit my lowest weight that I had hit, I started to plateau. I still had 10 pounds that I wanted to lose to get to my goal weight, but it took kind of realizing that that maybe wasn't the best weight for me, even if it was my goal that I had set for myself. Maybe it wasn't the healthiest weight because I actually ended up gaining more weight as I started to lift weights and put on some muscle. During that time though, my body has continued to kind of get smaller, and I'll show you guys some pictures because throughout the years, it has slowly made changes as I've continued to weightlift and do these things that I'm about to talk about. And so it is possible to keep burning fat while you build muscle. When I hit my plateau, it was honestly a big struggle for me mentally because I was so focused on the scale and I wanted to keep it going down and it just wasn't. But I had also started taking weightlifting pretty seriously at that time, and that's when I really hit my plateau. So the biggest thing when it comes to burning fat and building muscle is that you want to eat around your maintenance calories. And I don't track with MyFitnessPal, or I don't really track my macros and calories. I actually use Weight Watchers. That's what I've used to lose the weight and what I've continued to use to maintain my weight loss. So I do use MyFitnessPal from time to time to kind of do check-ins, and that's why I do my what I eat in a week videos, which I can leave those in the description below, the playlist to those. I do 5 days straight of tracking with Weight Watchers and MyFitnessPal so that I can see if, while I track with Weight Watchers all the time, I'm still hitting all of my goals that I want to, especially with protein. You can do what you want to make sure that you're hitting your maintenance calories or whatever, but you can go online and find like a macro calculator or a calorie calculator and calculate what your calories should be at maintenance. For me, I just prefer to use the maintenance setting in the Weight Watchers app, and it gives me 31 points a day, and that's pretty much what I stick with. Of course, using my weeklies and everything, I've kind of gotten the plan down to work best for me, and that's just what I do. And I've got plenty of videos explaining how Weight Watchers works for me. But anyway, you want to be eating your maintenance calories pretty much, because if you're in a deficit, that can affect building muscle, but it is still possible at maintenance to burn fat, even if you're not going to lose weight specifically, which I started to learn more and more that my weight wasn't the main factor of my health that I wanted to focus on. I started to focus more on how I felt, what I was able to do at the gym, progress pictures, measurements, all those types of things. So like I said, I started weightlifting about 8 or 9 months into my weight loss journey, which is when my weight loss really started to slow down. But I did want to build muscle and get stronger, and that became my main focus. So one of the most important things to do is to weightlift and to resistance train, because it is so important when you want to build muscles to lift heavy weights. And muscles have a higher metabolic rate than fat, meaning when you have more muscle on you, at your resting state, you're burning more fat. So when your body is composed of more muscle, when you're just at your resting state, it burns more calories, which means you can eat more in a day. And I've definitely noticed that and realized it as I've continued to build muscle. It really does make a difference. So it's really important to start incorporating weightlifting if you want to burn fat and build muscle at the same time. And I started slow. I started at home doing some workouts, and then I started to go to the gym. I've got some videos on that as well, and I can even get more into detail about what's really worked for me. I'm honestly in the process of creating a gym guide, although the move has kind of pushed that off as well, but I'm creating a guide to explain everything that I did when I first got started with lifting weights, because it truly has changed my life and it has been one of the most beneficial things I've done for myself. So weightlifting is a huge part of it, and I really recommend you just start slow, focus on form before anything. Like I said, lifting heavy weights is what is going to help you to build more muscle, but form is way more important than how heavy you're lifting. And so when I first started out, especially, form was my main focus, and making sure I got the form down before I upped any of the weights I was using or anything. And it's taken me now about 3 years, or it's longer than 3 years since I started. And that's what's really gotten me into the routine and comfortable lifting weights. But I promise it is so worth it. Really, it's been one of the most beneficial things I've done. And it's allowed me to really change my body. So like I mentioned, I'll show some pictures, but my starting weight was 252 pounds. And after a year, I lost 70 pounds. I got down to 180. And then 180 ended up being the lowest I ever got. But over the past couple years, I slowly started to gain back a little weight as I built muscle, but my body continued to get smaller. And I'll show you the pictures, like I said. So then in 2024, I weigh about 193. I usually am in the range of 190 to 193. I pretty much have stayed that way for a couple years now, but my body is much more toned and muscular because I've burned fat while building muscle. That's how I look more toned when I weigh 193 versus when I weigh 180, because it is just more fat that I've lost and more muscle that I've gained, and that is how my body has recomposed. So like I said, you wanna make sure that you're incorporating weightlifting. Then the other thing is you wanna make sure you're eating at your maintenance calories, which again, I don't technically track my calories every day. Instead, I use the Weight Watchers app, but whatever works best for you. Okay, then the next step that is so important is to make protein a focus. And like I said, I don't track my protein every day, so I really do kind of just keep in my head how much I've had and just try to focus on getting high protein options throughout the day. The What I Eat in a Weeks help me to see where I'm at, and that's pretty much how I eat when I'm not filming the What I Eat in a Weeks too, so it's always the same. So I know I'm in the right range. But protein is so important for muscle recovery and for building muscle. It is one of the most important things. So when I go to the gym, before my workouts, I make sure to have carbs because they help to fuel me through my workout. And then after, protein is always a priority. Carbs as well because they help with recovery, but protein especially helps with rebuilding your muscles, and it helps you to get fuller, which also has helped me to not eat over my calorie maintenance, because a lot of the times if I'm not getting enough protein or fiber in throughout the day, I feel more hungry, and then I'm more likely to snack and eat higher above my calories. So making sure that protein is a focus has been so huge in a few ways when it comes to muscle recovery, but also when it comes to just feeling fuller and staying within my calories or points for the day. And like I said, fiber is important with that as well. Not so much for like the recovery, but fiber does help you to stay more full throughout the day and just help your digestion, which in the long run just can help your eating habits and everything. So protein and fiber are key, protein especially though. So what the recommendations are for protein for just a normal everyday diet, it is 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. But if you're trying to build muscle, you definitely want to increase that number. You want to have more protein in your diet. And the number for that is 1.2 to 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight per day. So for me, I honestly aim to get like 150, 60, 70, 80 grams of protein in a day. I pretty much have that range, but that's just what works for me. I'm 6 feet tall, and that has to do with the calories and everything that I need. So that's what works best for me, to eat that much. But again, you can calculate it based on what you're able to do. 0.8 is pretty much like the bare minimum. So like I said, 0.8 per kilogram, not per pound, but 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram. And then if you want to build muscle, you should up that to anywhere from 1.2 to 2.2 grams. And it's not easy at first. It took me some time to really realize, like, what are high protein options? How do I incorporate these in my meals? But with Weight Watchers, it kind of helped me because a lot of the 0 point foods are high in protein. So I really try to incorporate a lot of lean meat, like ground turkey, ground chicken, chicken breast, of course, seafood as well, salmon, tuna. Those are really good high protein options. I like to get protein pasta. I like to have protein shakes and protein powder, eggs, different things like lentils or edamame, cheese, dairy. Those are all great sources of protein that I try to incorporate every single day. So you can find different ways to incorporate foods that are higher in protein, but it'll really make a difference when it comes to building muscle and burning fat at the same time. And I know that a lot of times there's a misconception that cardio is the most important when it comes to making your body more toned and to losing weight. And it is definitely important for your health. Cardio is of course beneficial and it's great, and I do incorporate it. Before this, you want to make weightlifting your priority, and then of course incorporate a little cardio here and there. So for me personally, I have actually noticed more of a difference just adding in extra steps here and there. It's helped me a little to just burn fat because cardio burns fat as well. But like I said before, when you do cardio, you burn a lot during your session, but then it doesn't continue after. Whereas when you lift weights, you don't burn as much during the session as you do when you're doing cardio, but then you continue to burn fat for hours and hours after your workout. And so in the long run, that actually ends up helping you to burn more fat, but both are great options, of course. course, to just improve your body, improve your overall health. So definitely incorporate both, but don't focus solely on cardio. Definitely focus on weightlifting and then incorporate some cardio here and there. So for me, just getting extra steps here and there when I can. I use my walking pad at home. That's helped me to get in some extra steps. And then for me, rollerblading is my favorite form of cardio. So I incorporate that a few times a week, but my main focus is always weightlifting because it does help so much more with building muscle and burning fat. Another thing, and I mention this in all my videos when it comes to like weight loss and just living a healthier lifestyle and everything, but this also is applicable when it comes to burning fat and building muscle. I keep saying that, but anyway, you need to make sure that you are focused on getting enough sleep, being hydrated and getting enough water, and managing stress levels, because all three of those things can have a really negative impact on your body if you do not take care of them. If you don't get enough sleep, you're not giving your body enough time to recover, you're not giving your body time to rebuild the muscles, and sleep is just so important for your overall health. When you don't get enough sleep, it usually leads to more snacking throughout the day because you're more hungry, and it can really mess with your hormones and just cause issues all around. So sleep is so important for muscle recovery and overall health, and that's something I've really prioritized throughout my maintenance while I've continued to burn fat and build muscle. And going along with that with hormones and stuff, stress is huge. So managing your stress levels, honestly, I've mentioned this past couple months have been so stressful for me, and I've noticed a difference. I've just not even been feeling as good, and it just has been kind of a struggle for me. And so I've really been trying to manage my stress levels. I try to get outside and get moving if I'm feeling stressed, or get my mind off things and just manage my stress in a healthy way. But that is something that can actually hold you back with building muscle if you are not managing your stress levels. And then, like I said, staying hydrated and drinking water, which of course is just one of the most beneficial things you can do in general for your health, because it just helps with muscle recovery and overall having your body be in a healthier state when you're hydrated. So I would definitely recommend to make those three things a focus as well. Of course, the weightlifting and the protein and the maintenance calories, those are like the main things to focus on when you're trying to do this. But don't neglect your sleep, hydration, and stress, because it really can hold you back if you're not paying attention to it. One last thing that I want to mention, like I said, as I've continued to build muscle and burn fat, the scale hasn't reflected that the way that I thought it would. I thought the scale would continue to go down, but muscle is more dense, so it takes up less space while it weighs the same as fat. So 1 pound of muscle is going to take up less space than 1 pound of fat. And that's why my body has been able to get more toned and get smaller while I've continued to gain weight. And the pictures always help me so much to see this. That's why I've taken so many progress pictures throughout my journey, because it really does blow my mind that at 180, I looked bigger than I do at 193. And of course, I was fine at 180. I was healthy. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying I have continued to tone up my body from there while the scale has gone up, but my body has changed. And so taking pictures, taking measurements, not focusing too much on the scale can be really beneficial during this time, because the scale might not reflect the changes that your body is going through, because like I said, muscle is more dense and takes up less space. So in order to build more muscle, you may gain a little weight, but it is so worth it. Honestly, I don't even pay attention to the scale like I used to. I was so caught up on that number 180 and I just wanted to stay there. And it was pretty upsetting to me when the scale was crawling up to 190, but I am so happy with where I'm at with my body, with how strong I am. I've never been this strong in my life. I've never had this tone of a body in my life. And it has allowed me to just be the most active I've been, and just makes my life honestly easier to do day-to-day activities, because I really do prioritize these things that are important and that make me feel better and help me to build my muscle and stuff. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to go over that because, again, don't get caught up on the scale if you are doing this. It doesn't always show what is going on. And if I would have gotten hung up on the scale and just given up because of it, or started restricting calories or something because of it, again, gone out of my maintenance mode or something because I wanted to keep losing, I don't think that would have been the healthiest for me. Actually, I know that wouldn't have been the healthiest option for me. I feel the best now and better than I ever have now. So even though it does get hard to see that number on the scale, it isn't everything. And focus on some other things to measure your progress. Even like progress in the gym is huge. And for me personally, during this time, I've kind of had the mindset that I'm just going with the flow and that the days are gonna pass no matter what. So I didn't put any type of timeline on the changes I wanted to go through with my body. It's taken 3 years to get where I'm at from where I was 3 years ago, like I said, with the pictures and stuff. It's taken a long time, but It's because I've wanted to create just a healthy, sustainable lifestyle that I could actually keep up with and habits that I could continue, like going to the gym and eating these meals that are higher in protein and fiber and stuff. I try to make things as simple as possible for me, but I don't want to rush the results because then I find I just get more stressed about it and I feel like it just becomes too obsessive of a thing for me that's just unhealthy overall. So going with the flow and just kind of making these everyday practices in my life, focusing on protein, doing weightlifting, getting a little cardio in and extra steps, and then focusing on my sleep, hydration, and managing stress. Those things have really just over time added up to huge results that I honestly never expected. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you have any questions about any of this, feel free to leave any in the comments below. But this has just been based on my personal experience going through weight loss and then maintenance and continuing to burn fat while I build muscle to change my body composition. So anyway, that wraps up today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you did, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.